Hello and thanks for joining us here on Encore. Coming up on today's show. Berlin's annual film festival wraps up as the German capital maintains its place as the most movie fan-friendly spot to catch this year's new releases.
I believe in love.
Marseille, Mon Amour, France's southern city, hosts a festival dedicated to the arts of love, with events spread across the region. And op art star Victor Vasarely is the toast of a handful of retrospectives as the 1970s painter and designer's graphic style comes under the spotlight after falling out of favour. We're starting the show with a big screen release that was made on a very small one. Director Steven Soderbergh filmed his latest movie on an iPhone. Unsane had its premiere at the Berlin Film Festival. The psychiatric thriller starring Claire Foy was reportedly made in just 2 weeks. After a career in which experimentation and technical innovation featured frequently, Soderbergh had said he was retiring from cinema a couple of years ago, yet he may have been lured back by the little device many of us carry in our pockets. He said that using a smartphone meant he could be more spontaneous and dynamic when on the set.
A couple of things that you have to deal with when you're shooting on a device that's that small. It's very sensitive to vibration. The positives, for me, are obviously I can put the lens anywhere I want in a matter of seconds. And I don't have to cut a hole in the wall. I don't have to secure it to the ceiling if I want to put it over somebody's head.
This man, he's followed me all the way here from Boston. I'm calling the cops. I want him arrested. My stalker is here.
We did a thorough background check.
You should be protecting me. Mom, no one believes me. I'm getting you out.
There's nothing we can do unless you have proof that a crime's been committed.
Staying in Berlin, there's one couple who may well be queuing up to see Soderbergh's latest film at the Berlinale screenings. Erika and Ulrich Gregor have been regulars at the festival for 6 decades now, taking in as many films as they can every day. Over the years, they've helped to put on art house cinema and written books and articles about film. Unsurprisingly, the couple met through a mutual love of movies at a screening of a silent film in 1957, when Erika spotted Ulrich in the theatre.
In the beginning, I thought he was the smartest of all of them. And I think smartness is something wonderful, especially for men who in general are not very smart.
The joy of the picture when the canvas opens. The expectation that something will become visible, that something is coming, that there will be a surprise. That feeling is always there. We never get discouraged by bad movies or weak movies. Actually, we also watch bad movies because they should also be known.
Paris might have a monopoly on romance when it comes to the public imagination, but the French capital now has some competition from a southern contender. Marseille is hosting a festival under the banner Quel Amour, celebrating all forms of love. 5 years after the port city was named European Capital of Culture, Marseille's building on its success and extending the programme to the region, with events planned in Arles, Aix-en-Provence and Cassis. Florence Gaillard and Ellen Gainsford went to check it out.
A new season of cultural events in the south of France kicks off with a bang. Hoping to build on Marseille's success as capital of culture in 2013, the Provence region is hosting an arts festival celebrating love in all its forms. There's physical love at the Picasso exhibition, showing at the Vieille Charité Gallery. The artist Minotaur painted his wives, his fantasies, and the voyages of his imagination.
In 1912, Picasso came to Marseille and bought this mask, which was made in the Ivory Coast. From this face, he was inspired to create a series of sculptures and paintings, works seen as emblematic of the master of Cubism, based on simple geometric shapes. The cylinder or the cone, all of it was synthesized, all was first said in this African mask.
At the Théâtre de la Criée, love of art is shown in its many facets. On the stage, we found dancers and musicians. While in the back rooms, a rapt audience listened to fairy tales. Even the entry hall hosts an exhibition, the eccentric sculptures of Amandine Maillot and other visual artists, a mix of art forms under one roof.
The aim of the festival is to show a whole spectrum of art and culture, also to send a clear message. There are theatres and museums. Maybe you think they're not for you, but push the door open and you'll feel at home.
For the love of music, we head to La Friche. The former tobacco factory is now a culture centre, a space to play, to eat, or watch a gig. Families and kids mix with artists and hip-hop fans.
We focus on hip-hop because the space played a part in the history of Marseille's hip-hop scene. A lot of groups started out here. I Am, La Funky Family, I could go on. And is also a place where young people come to dance, to skateboard, or to graffiti the walls that are still blank.
Tonight, the rappers Chameleon and Tresem have been invited to perform by folk singer Manu Terron.
The project is really to reunite the cultural players of Marseille, each with their own style. What's great about working together on stage is that we exchange thoughts, communicate, and suggest ideas that we adapt together. That's what the festival is all about.
A medley of sounds and styles that seem to go down well with the public.
To a new exhibition now at Paris's Pompidou Centre as the gallery pays homage to David Goldblatt. At 87 years old, the South African photographer is a leading figure in fine art and documentary image making, as well as being a founder of the Market Theatre Workshop in Johannesburg. In this retrospective of his 60-year career, the pictures document the apartheid era and its aftermath, featuring some stark portraits of the people, landscapes and interiors that reflected the segregated social reality in 20th century South Africa. Here's a small selection from that show. We're taking a look at an artist who was once a household name here in France, but whose work has faded from view in recent years. Victor Vasarely was a pioneer of the op art movement, famed for his geometrical designs and experiments with perspective and light. Now, the Hungarian-born artist's work is being celebrated with 3 separate retrospectives. His foundation in Aix-en-Provence is also opening its doors once again after 6 years of renovations. Marius Sophos takes a look back at the late artist's career.
In his heyday, most people would have recognised his geometric and psychedelic artworks, but for many years now, he has been overlooked. In the 1970s, Victor Vasarely was cooler than Picasso and Dali put together. He also pervaded the worlds of fashion, design and music, with David Bowie even using one of his works for the cover of his Space Oddity album. Interviewed here by a French pop star, Vasarely spoke about the influence of his predecessors.
Styles changed a lot. Do you think you're responsible for that?
This idea originated in the work of the Cubists and the first abstract artists.
Vasarely is the grandfather of the optical art movement. Using calculations and combining colours and shapes, he created a physical experience for the viewer, almost like wearing 3D glasses.
You feel like you're in a universe that doesn't exist.
A prolific artist, to say the least, Vasarely produced over 10,000 works. The intense turnover, however, eventually harmed his career, and his popularity waned over the years. One of the last remnants of Vasarely's work in Paris was this building's facade, but it was recently dismantled. Today, however, Vasarely's work is being given a new lease of life. Pierre Vasarely, the artist's grandson, visits his foundation every day. His grandfather started the foundation in Aix-en-Provence 40 years ago, and it is being relaunched after 6 years of extensive renovation. There are also 3 major upcoming exhibitions dedicated to Vasarely's work, one in Madrid, one in Berlin, and one next year in Paris, where the artist has not been celebrated for some 20 years.
And finally, when most chart-topping musicians secure $1 million budget for the next video, they spend it on dancers, props and special effects. Not so for Drake. He decided to give the cash away. The Canadian rapper made the people of Miami very happy as he presented one family with a new car, pledged scholarships to the city's university, and even handed out dollar bills on the streets, all part of the clip for God's Plan. Drake must be building up a serious stock of good karma. Remember, you can get more arts and culture on our website, and you can also keep up with Encore on social media too. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
Don't pull up at 6 a.m. Anything you guys want in the store is free, so grab whatever you guys want. I don't want to die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They gon' tell the story, shit was different with me. God's plan. God's plan. I hold back, sometimes I won't. Yeah. I feel good, sometimes I don't. Like, I finesse down west.